show of Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara. Special edition this week. Interviews that I'd recorded in the past with Fran and Margaret McCaffery, also Connor and Patrick McCaffery. So you'll see that with Patrick this week in total. And the people responsible for that are our good friends Craig and Stacy Schroeder with Fight with Flash Foundation via Facebook or fightwithflash.org. Craig and Stacy, the relationship you and the McCaffreys have is so special. And they have laid everything out for you as far as connections, contacts, in the charitable organization world with Dick Vitale, the V Foundation, doctors, other organizations. So Stacy, quite a special relationship between you and the McCaffreys, no doubt.
Yes, we love Fran and Margaret so much. They've done so much for us, and we could never thank them enough for all they do. They're just very special to us.
And they feel the same way about you in the interview that comes out very clearly. It's wonderful. And Craig, what an awesome relationship Austin Flash Schroeder had with Patrick McCaffery, and Patrick talks about in this interview. Special stuff.
Absolutely. It's like, your child has to go through cancer, but we felt very fortunate that he had a very, very good buddy with Patrick to go through it at the same time. And when you're alone, it's hard to do something, but when you're together, you're stronger together. And we are so blessed that they had that friendship and they had each other during the battle.
Thanks again, Craig and Stacy. And here we go with the McCaffreys on Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara. You can see Patrick McCaffery joining us, our buddy here, and obviously the connection to Patrick with Austin Flash Schroeder. A different experience for you than anybody else I've spoken to, obviously.
Yeah.
So first of all, thanks for joining us, and how you doing, Patrick?
I'm pretty good. I'm a little tired. Got home late last night from the game.
Yeah.
9 p.m. start. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but, yeah, I'm a little tired, but I'm good.
Well, and again, I want everybody to know that's fantastic, because I want everybody to know that Patrick and Connor both today, as Patrick just referenced, a 9 o'clock tip-off, and gosh, you probably didn't get back till 1:30, 2 o'clock, but you jet down after a game.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, is where your emotions and everything are so high after games. Like, your energy's through the roof. So I ate my food, and I probably got back to my house at probably around 12:30. Chilled in the locker room for a little bit after ate my food or whatever. Got home around 12:30. But it's hard to go to sleep after a game. It takes a while.
Yeah.
So that I probably didn't fall asleep till 1, 2, and sometime around in there.
Oh, by the way, there's classes and life and practice and interviews now.
Exactly.
But I greatly appreciate you and Connor both, and your mom and dad yesterday before the Longwood game. They joined me from your dad's office, and so really appreciate the family perspective, but really want to get into your perspective. Obviously, like with Connor, you grew up around your parents with American Cancer Society, Coaches versus Cancer, the Jimmy V, Fighting Cancer Foundation with ESPN and Dick Vitale. A veritable who's who in the basketball world you've grown up with around your dad and your mom. And by the way, Margaret McCaffery was the true player, what your dad told me. True?
I agree, 100%.
He said Mom had he goes, Mom was great, Dad was pretty good.
He was okay.
Yeah.
She was the one. She
was the star. But it's intriguing to me, and as I said, I show a picture, with your mom having a law degree from Notre Dame as well, and took Connor across the stage to get that, and just many neat family stories. But the one thing we come back to is talking about Fight with Flash Foundation, your friendship, and unbelievable battle together with Austin Flash Schroeder. But I do want to start with on a humorous note, viewers, that Margaret shared, Patrick's mom shared with me yesterday, that when you had that surgery on, your dad's just coming to Iowa, first time in the NCAA tournament in a while for the Hawks, playing Tennessee as a play-in game, I guess, or that round of 68. And Hawks lose a tough game in overtime to Tennessee, and your mom said, here Patrick has this life-altering surgery scheduled for the next day, and you're not even going to be 14 the next day. And she said she couldn't calm you down because you were so ticked off that the Hawks lost in overtime.
Yeah, I was in the hospital, and I was so upset. And my you can see your heart rate and all that kind of stuff. It's through the roof. I'm screaming at the TV. My throat, it was the day I had surgery, so my throat is literally, well, I have my scar here. My throat's literally cut, and I'm screaming. She's yelling at me, "Don't stop screaming!" I'm yelling at the TV. I'm doing all this stuff. I was so into the game. My heart rate was through the roof. My blood pressure was probably incredibly high. But yeah, it was fun. I really wanted them to win.
Yeah, and so she explained that to me, and then you find out and get the results that it was malignant, and now you got a battle on your hands. But Boy, again, I'm amazed at your progress in life and how well and healthy you are. And we were joking off camera, viewers. We said, "Gosh, if Patrick's only problem is his sprained ankles right now, that's a pretty good thing, right?"
Exactly. That's the biggest problem in my life. That I'm doing great.
Amen to that. The appreciation this young man has at an early age, and your dad said that yesterday too, Dave. If we can just deal with the common injury maladies or flu or cold, that's a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about knowing Austin Flash Schroeder and we talk about your experience. So I've heard your dad and mom's perspective, but before we get to Austin, I know you're so young, you're only 13, 14, and you get this diagnosis. That's a lot for any person at any age.
Mm-hmm.
For your age at being a preteen or a teen, what were some of the thoughts that were going through your head? What happened to you at that time?
A lot of naiveness, I guess. Is that the word?
Naivete?
Naivete,
Good.
yeah, naivete. Like just kind of like, okay, like where do we go from here, sort of thing. I learned from a young age. I would say one of my biggest life goes on. Like just kind of like something really traumatic happens,
Mhm.
whether that's in my case or Austin's case. Sun's gonna come up the next morning, and you just kind of keep rolling with the punches, and you just gotta take the hand you're dealt and roll with it. So I would say that's something that I learned very early on. Like not everything that happens always makes sense.
Right.
That's something that I was able to learn with very young with Austin, just kind of like not everything has like a real rhyme or reason to it. So, I'd say that there was a lot of stuff like that I was able to learn. A lot of just, like I said, naivete, like I was just kind of like a little confused, relied on my parents a lot, but also I a lot of deflection. I really hated talking about it.
Wow.
I wouldn't like, I hated, my mom would ask me questions and I hated it. I hated it because all everybody ever talked about, like, and I know that it was out of a good place because it's like they're trying to look out for me, trying to
Sure.
see how I'm feeling. But that it just bugged me because I was just, I don't want to talk about it because that's all anybody wanted to talk about.
Mhm.
So I really didn't start talking about it very openly until I was probably 18 or 19 years old,
Yeah.
like really later in high school. Just because I wasn't comfortable with it. I
Sure.
didn't want to.
It's a lot to process.
Exactly. It took me a while to process all that.
Yeah.
So, I really didn't like talking about it. But then once I was able to come to the realization that, me telling my story could give comfort to other kids and other people who went through similar things, and kind of like, you see where I'm at, I'm playing Big Ten basketball. Now you can see like, okay, like he can do it, so why can't I, sort of thing. So, it was
Sure.
able to be like a sign of light, a symbol of hope, that sort of thing. So it was really good for me to finally be able to come to that realization, although it was uncomfortable for me at first. Now I'm okay talking about it. I'm much more comfortable. I told the story a lot. So
Sure.
yeah, but it took me a while to get there. So when I was younger, I really didn't like talking about it. I was pretty naive to the whole thing. But luckily I was able to lean on Austin because we were both going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And I say this all the time. I've talked to my parents. I talked to Craig and Stacy about it. It's scary to think about it because like it seemed normal to us, which is really kind of screwed up because it's not normal.
Right.
It's not. But like it was such a big part of both of our lives. Like we were in the hospital together all the time. Like still to this day when I go to the hospital, like my phone automatically connects to the Wi-Fi, which is just a scary thought. Like
yeah, think about that. Yeah.
so it's it's just kind of like me and Austin were able to go through that together. So I'm lucky I was able to have him to lean on, and he was able to have me to lean on because nobody really knew what the other was going through like the other did. We were talking about, I know my mom cries whenever she hears, like tells this story. It's like we're comparing different biopsies that we got on our tumors and, like the size of the needle and how many like different doctors it took to hold you down, like all that kind of stuff. So pretty intense stuff that we were able to kind of bond and go through together. So I was incredibly lucky to have Austin with me, and I miss him every day.
Back with more Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara, and Patrick McCaffery, Iowa Hawkeye men's basketball player, and most importantly, cancer survivor. Patrick McCaffery in a few moments.
In farming, everybody knows relationships drive the industry. And with Merschman Seeds, you've got a friend in the field. Hi, this is Joe Merschman. We're the friend that delivers with extraordinary speed. We're the friend that shares knowledge and innovation. We're the friend that cares about your yields and profits. And we just happen to have the most advanced seed technology in the industry. When you choose the best seed, you also get the best people. Merschman Seeds, your friend in the field.
Hi, I'm Joel from Tice Chevrolet. We've lived through some very interesting times the last few months. Ensuring everyone's safety is more important than ever. That is why we're participating in the Chevy Clean program. At your request, we will pick up your vehicle, service it, and return it after we've cleaned it using the current CDC guidelines. This is just another way to work towards exceeding your expectations. So give us a call and let us show you what it means to be part of the Tice Automotive family.
Well, I got to tell you this, and I greatly appreciate you taking the viewers and me through that, which is everybody handles different things in life differently. And the fact that at such a young age you have to deal with that, and as you mentioned, it would seemingly be screwed up, but that's your world. And so I appreciate you turn your competitiveness against this cancer instead of basketball, and you and Austin both being buddies, teammates, competitors. Like you said, in a sick way, but in a good way, you two had each other to focus on and get this. And as you mentioned, missing him every day. And just, I never had the privilege of knowing Austin when he was alive, but just seeing the pictures and when he was a young guy and playing and healthy and a fast kid. That's why the name Flash, Austin Flash. But your mom had mentioned too, reaching out to Craig and Stacy when you guys had first moved here. She was looking for youth teams, and that's how the families got together. So talk about Austin a little bit more. Your favorite parts when you said you miss him every day, besides the cancer part, before that all happened. Some of the cool things about you and Austin.
Well, we were the same number, so that's obviously the first thing that sticks
22,
out.
yep.
We played against each other. I never played with Austin. He was a little older than me.
Okay.
But so we played against each other in baseball, basketball. Might even play against each other in football. I played football for 1 year. My mom shut me down. She can't play anymore.
Basketball is your future.
Yeah, exactly. She said you can't play football anymore. But so we were always kind of in the same circle, same group of friends. We went to different elementary schools, but ended up going to the same junior high. But we were always in the same circle. We had similar mutual friends. So, we were able to kind of bond together that way. We obviously had the sports thing where, that was a huge part of both of our lives. So we were on similar teams and all that kind of stuff. So we were able to kind of go bond together through that way, and then also, kind of playing like just with those mutual friends, playing backyard football, like what kids do, kind of like backyard baseball, basketball, whatever we wanted to play.
Sandlot.
Exactly. So we were able to kind of get to know each other together that way. So I knew him pretty well, but then obviously when the cancer thing happened, it brought brought our families too, like much closer together, to a level that I never thought that me and Austin would maybe get to. That's a level that nobody could really even think about going to. So it brought me and Austin together a lot, to like just a whole new level and a whole different type of bond that, like I was saying earlier, only the other knew what we were going through. So, and our parents too were able to kind of develop a similar bond, and then eventually with the Schaefers as well, just kind of like that nobody really knows what it's like to deal with it unless you really go through it. So, that's something that we were able to all kind of bond with together.
It really fascinates me though that when you bring this up, and I'm an adult age man, I have had a family and lived my life, and I think about this, and I want the viewers to think about this. What you said, the side of the needle, how many doctors or nurses to hold you down? I mean, the battle and the struggle that until you just personalize that, I could see where initially that might be difficult to talk about. And thank you for taking us in there, because that is so helpful for me, and I'm sure the viewers, to understand. This is no, oh, well, he went in and got his treatment, he's okay now. It's not like that at all.
No, not at all. It definitely took me a while to kind of get over some of that stuff. It took me a while to talk about some of that stuff.
I can imagine.
But like, I got tattoos now, and people are like, are you scared of needles? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I got over it when I had 4 different ones in my neck at the same time.
Yeah.
Like,
for real. Now the tattoos, are they significant of anything? Or
yeah, so me and my brother both have this one. This
Perfect.
It's a Stuart Scott score. You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and the manner in which you live. And then we got the number 22. So me and Connor both have that one. I got one on my chest that's of Austin, and it's a lightning bolt with his signature in it.
Perfect.
So yeah, it turned out pretty well. And then I got another one on this farm. This one's pretty new. I get nervous before games, so just trust your work. So that one was a little kind of a lighter note, I guess, but something that is still significant to me.
I like that, the significance. And again, I'm not a tattoo person myself personally, but I always ask when I see them or people that have them, I always ask for the meaning or their significance. So very poignant. And I can't thank you enough for taking us inside that, because that, as you said, that wasn't easy. It still can't be easy, because like you said, you miss Austin Flash Schroeder every day, and who could blame you?
Exactly.
That shared experience. Patrick, I can't even begin to say thank you enough for taking us through that. Again, go to fightwithflash.org or the Facebook page, Fight with Flash Foundation. Again, DaveO'HaraSports.com. We have everything linked there. You hear Patrick's story, you know what they went through, you know what other kids and families are going through, and that's what is so admirable for you and your family, but especially you, what you went through, how you can help other people. So I just can't say thank you enough, and how impressed I am of you and how proud I am for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Truly my pleasure and well-deserved and well-earned. Patrick, thanks for talking to us. And again, to Craig and Tracy Schroeder for organizing this and putting it together. But again, he's Patrick McCaffery, Iowa Hawkeye basketball player. And most importantly, can I say 2 words? Cancer survivor.
Absolutely.
With pride. Amen to that. Back with more Hawkeye with me, Dave O'Hara, and Connor McCaffery. Yes, that Connor McCaffery, Iowa Hawkeye basketball player. Back with more in just a few moments.
Hi, I'm Joel from Tice Automotive Family. We're living through some of the most interesting and challenging times many of us have ever seen. Knowing who you can rely on is more important than ever. Many of us turn to our families to get us through, and the same holds true here. From our fair, upfront pricing to exceptional service after the sale, we truly want to exceed your expectations. So give us a call or stop by and let us show you what it means to be part of the Tice Automotive family.
Who do you trust to produce the best yield? A seed company that's chasing technology or a seed company that's writing the book on it? Hi, this is Joe Mershman. Mershman Seeds has been treating soybeans for decades, long before it was commonplace. We're the leader in technology, introducing Mershman Seeds' latest advancement in seed treatment, with an added fungicide to help produce a faster, more even emergence every single time. Who can you trust with your yields? Mershman Seeds, your friend in the field.
As you can see, my buddy Connor McCaffery joining us. You've seen his parents join me in the past. Fran and Margaret McCaffery, obviously, coach. Fran McCaffery, head coach of the Iowa men's basketball team. And Connor, first of all, thanks for joining us, and I'm smiling because, man, have I heard some McCaffery stories in the last couple of days. A lot of them involving you as you smile. You know, most of them good. I'll say that, most of them. Yeah. But thanks for joining us. How you doing?
No, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, truly my pleasure. Yeah, my pleasure. And remember to always go to fightwithflash.org or Facebook page, Fight with Flash Foundation. Craig and Stacy Schroeder doing amazing things. Hard to believe, 6.5 years since Austin Flash Schroeder got his angel wings, but we're doing our best to fight cancer with them and all your help as well. And again, if you want to buy any of their fantastic, go to their online store for all their shirts and jewelry and everything else with Fight with Flash, the lightning bolt logo. Please go to fightwithflash.org or again, the Facebook page, Fight with Flash Foundation, or you can go here at daveoharasports.com and we'll link everything there. But Connor, let's talk to you a little bit, if you don't mind, getting personal here before we get into basketball and everything else. You're knowing Austin when he was a young man and got sick, but even before that, how he got the nickname Flash, obviously because he was a fast runner. But you know, what a deal for you to go through, you know, in 7th, 8th grade, and then, you know, Patrick has his cancer and beats it, your younger brother, but Austin gets it. And the thing that still amazes me as I talk to your parents about, and I know that's a lot of stuff for a young kid to think about, and now that you're a young man, you've had some chance to absorb this, but you know, he had such a high success rate when they first diagnosed him. Then all of a sudden, the world caved in and he was gone. And as a young kid, it's tough at any stage in your life, but as a young kid, what were you going through? What did you know going into that situation?
Yeah, so it was, like you said, it just all happened very fast. You know, I feel like when you're in junior high, you don't necessarily process exactly what all is going on. You think, you know, they're your friends, they're your classmates. You think they're going to be strong enough, and they're healthy. You know, great athletes, you know, great families. Everything's going to be okay. Well, you know, you kind of have to when you're. I mean, I was in 8th grade at the time, 8th, 9th grade. You know, in that range, and you kind of just it really sets you back. Like you don't really know how to react, how to handle anything.
You know, and the intriguing thing to me, and viewers, I want you to know this, you know, Connor grew up by that with his parents, as we talked with Fran and Margaret about in the past, with America's, or ACS, American Cancer Society, or Coaches versus Cancer, and all the other philanthropic work your parents did. So that wasn't a new process for you, but I think you said it to me off camera, and if you bring this on the camera, when it hits close to home with your brother Patrick or your friend, now that's pretty heady stuff, like you said, for an adult. But now you're in 8th and 9th grade and having to deal with that. So let's, you know, instead of going through that process, some of the good times, the athletic times you mentioned. I see you smiling. Man, you guys were tearing up ball fields and basketball courts all over, weren't you?
No, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, anytime you're with, you know, athletes like that, you know, Austin, I never played with him because he was a year younger than me, but I always just heard stories of the type of player that he was, and then obviously Patrick as well, you know, playing with him, and just both of them being able to be in that, you know, just be in that age range where everything is going so great and
Mhm.
you're enjoying it. We got to go to St. Louis for a Cardinals game with the Schroeder family, and so being with him in that environment, even though he was sick, he was in very good spirits. And
Wow.
baseball, I feel like that was like definitely one thing that was kind of closer to home, and so that was that's obviously one of my sports as well. So all very, very special.
You and I are going to talk about baseball in another
Yeah.
segment for TV,
Yeah.
but yes, I'm aware that baseball is one of your sports too, basketball. And folks, I want you to know, viewing in, that Connor played last night. We record this on Wednesday afternoon on November 10th, and they beat Longwood last night. And Connor's kind enough to come in before treatment on. Am I breaking news here? Maybe I shouldn't say this, but
I think everybody saw it.
yeah,
I
I was there, and I sure did,
Yeah.
and I was amazed when you said, "Yeah, I'll still come by." So this kind of stand-up guy, he and Patrick both are. We're going to be interviewing his younger brother Patrick after this. But so Connor, when you talk about awareness, and that's really what I really want to hone in as we wrap this segment up. Again, for DaveO'HaraSports.com and Fight with Flash Foundation, Connor McCaffery joining me, Iowa Hawkeye basketball player and baseball player. And but I do want to get your take on this when you talk about awareness, and someone like Dick Vitale, the famous ESPN broadcaster, has just been stricken with his second bout of cancer, a different cancer this time, but how public he's made it. And man, I said to your parents yesterday when we recorded with them, cancer picked the wrong guy to mess with, because he's going to make it very public, has made it very public. And that's the thing that amazes me about you, Patrick, your family. And I said this to Craig Schroeder last week, and Craig and Stacy. It amazes me, Connor, we're still at this point where someone famous has to get cancer and then go out there. I know it affects everybody because it's somebody's neighbor, brother, sister, son, daughter.
Right.
But until it really hits close to your home, I think we constantly have to beat this drum, don't we?
Oh, absolutely, and that's why I think there's so much support that goes into every time you see somebody be diagnosed with cancer. The support and outreach that happens is so amazing, and I think it just helps them. It helps their families. It helps in every way. And anything that like my parents do, raising money, raising awareness.
Mhm.
You would think that at this point most people would understand, but everything helps. If you can just reach one person to explain to them, the absolute terrible disease that it is, and the horrible effects that it has on so many people and so many families. Just the more awareness you can bring to that, the more you talk about it, the more public you make it, I think it's just going to be beneficial.
I couldn't agree more with you, and that's why using this platform that I do, and with your parents, and now you and Patrick, and and the thing that I always tell folks is, oh, well, thanks for doing this, and this, and thank you and everybody else. But that's why I got involved. I grew up with Craig. I know his family, and so when it hits closer to home, my mom's a cancer survivor at 86, but yet cancer takes someone at 14 like Austin Flash Schroeder, or 14, 10, 11, 12 with Tate Schaefer. And that's the thing I love watching the Iowa Hawkeyes or any other athlete or team be involved with a charitable. It's what it does for me, and you can tell what it does for you. That, like you said, you met the Schaefers, and you and I talked off camera, and Brad and Darcy have been on this show, Tate's parents, and when he passed. But it really is impactful when you meet someone. And the thing that still strikes me to this day, Connor, is this firsthand. When Austin was going through this and Tate, they both looked at their parents and said, "This isn't fair." And their parents were like, "Yeah, you're right, it's not fair." And they're like, "No, not for me. For all these other little kids. I'm older than them. I've lived." That's still, you just mentioned Austin's spirit. Isn't that still an amazing thing to see someone that cancer-stricken or that sick be that strong?
Oh, absolutely. But it doesn't surprise me either with the type of people that both of them were. And they're 100% right. It's not fair in any way for them, for anyone else. And that's why I think, as we talked earlier about, there's so many amazing foundations. Dance Marathon, raising money for the kids, and the Fight with Flash Foundation, AYA, my parents' organization, the ACS, Coach versus Cancer. There's so many things that have been so amazing to try to help. But like you said, it's not fair. And just to see both Flash, Tate, my brother, all of these younger kids who you end up you meet and but just see them fight the way that they did, and see how strong they are. It's indescribable.
And that's what sports is all about: is fighting and not giving up when you're down, and not taking it this is when the world transcends, or sports, the world is beyond sports, because now that's the fight for life. And you hit that a nail on the head perfectly. Connor, I can't even begin to say thank you enough with your schedule and your activities, but I know this is important for you and really important for us. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me.
Truly my pleasure, and you're welcome, and thank you. So there he is, Connor McCaffery. And again, thanks to Craig and Stacy Schroeder with Fight with Flash Foundation for setting all this up. Anything we can do, and you viewers as well, to help. As Connor just mentioned, his parents' organizations with ACS, American Cancer Society, Coaches versus Cancer, Jimmy V Foundation with ESPN for Jim Valvano and Dick Vitale. But also, again, fightwithflash.org or the Facebook page, Fight with Flash Foundation. Of course, everything's linked here at Dave O'Hara Sports. So for Connor McCaffery, I'm Dave O'Hara and Hawkeye. That's all from us. Thanks to all of you. And as always, thanks for staying tuned at the end of the program for these rolling credits to give our advertisers and sponsors the attention and credit they so richly deserve. And as always, to our aforementioned guests and to you, the viewers. That's all from us at Hawkeye. Thanks to all of you.